I'll find the safest and fastest way out of here for us.
Is there still a way to escape?
The problem was, more than half of those methods had an absurdly high chance of death. Kim Soleum swallowed that thought and added something actually helpful.
Do you remember the back of the leaflet? The guidelines for what to do after closing hours?
Jang Min-seo recalled the text as if entranced by the memory.
After closing hours, it is recommended that you abandon all escape attempts. Prioritize survival and endure until business hours resume. As of the latest reports, the safest floor is the second floor.
They were currently on the first floor.
Then, if we just go up one more floor, we'll be safe?
That's right. The other agent and your friend definitely went up too, so don't worry.
The certainty in the man's voice made Jang Min-seo feel a little reassured. He sniffled and steadied himself. The agent checked outside, then pulled himself out from under the display stand.
All right, we're safe now. Let's move.
Though he whimpered, the high schooler didn't refuse Kim Soleum's lead. Thankfully, the noise wasn't too loud. But the problem remained. Jang Min-seo must have twisted it when he dived under the display stand earlier. Kim Soleum's mind worked fast. Then he came to a cold conclusion. I can't give him an item right now. Not in this ghost story. A strong painkiller like Happy Maker could make the high schooler overuse his leg and end up not being able to use it anymore. And nostalgia candy. Out of the question.
Unless you are in the food court, please do not consume any products inside the supermarket. Even food you brought in yourself is not an exception. The employees do not differentiate. If they witness you eating, they will charge you accordingly. You do not have the ability to pay.
And this rule didn't just apply to food items sold in the store. Looky Mart employees couldn't tell the difference. Even shoving the kid into his tattoo for safekeeping was too risky. There was no way to predict what kind of contamination or horrific transformation might occur. Not to mention, explaining that to the bureau later would be a nightmare. The high school student had no way of knowing what the silent agent was thinking, but just seeing him hesitate sent a cold wave of unease down his back. Is he going to leave me behind? Had he decided the rescue was too difficult? Or was he picturing both of them getting caught if he tried to carry him? The terrifying thought spiraled through his mind.
Don't worry. We'll move in a way that won't require running.
A firm voice snapped him out of it. The high schooler lifted his head.
For now, let's head to the escalator. But not up. We're going to the downward escalator instead. Got it? The one that comes down from the second floor.
Since the store had already closed, the escalators had likely stopped running, so maybe it didn't matter which one they took. But why specifically the downward escalator? Instead of asking, the high schooler simply nodded. The agent helped him up and carefully began moving.
If you hear an employee, let me know immediately.
The high schooler tried his best not to look at the display stand where he had been hiding. Instead, he focused entirely on listening for employee noises as he carefully followed the agent. A few times, pain made him wince, but he endured it. The agent led him past the checkout counters and toward the inactive escalators with steady, unhurried movements. The high schooler followed as quickly as he could. But when they finally arrived, one of the escalators was still running. The one leading down from the second floor. A darkened store after closing hours, a slowly moving rail, and at the top of the escalator, a figure stood motionless.
After closing hours, escalators remain deactivated and blocked. However, they may run at certain times when employees are conducting maintenance. It seemed to be imitating an escalator inspection.
However, the employee standing on the escalator, with its head tilted to the side, blankly staring down at the floor, looked grotesque and unnatural. And that figure was coming closer, moving downward along the operating escalator. Beside him, Kim Soleum pulled something from his pocket. A fishing line with a red goldfish lure at the end. In the records, they always checked the second to first floor escalator right after closing. That was why he had specifically come to this escalator. Originally, he had planned to use this item to get past the entrance, but there was no other option now. Even if it was a waste, there was no choice but to use it now. Kim Soleum cast the fishing line. Defying normal physics, the transparent wire flew through the air as if launched by an actual fishing rod, landing perfectly on the escalator's advertisement board. The fishing line wrapped around the board, dangling below it, and at the very end the red lure swayed in the air. The employee descending backward on the escalator spotted it. At that moment, the employee's body began to move. It turned toward the lure. It walked against the flow of the escalator. The red bait shifted to the far left side of the escalator. The employee stumbled sideways to follow it, and as its head leaned out past the handrail, Kim Soleum let go of the line. The fishing line unraveled, pulling free from the advertisement board, and the red bait dropped between the two escalators. The employee fell headfirst between the moving escalators. It had thrown itself after the lure.
Let's move, before it gets out.
The agent immediately sprang into action.
Take off your shoes. Crawl up, use your knees instead of your feet. Stay quiet.
The high schooler handed over his shoes, then got down on all fours and crawled up the stopped escalator. At that moment, he didn't feel any embarrassment. All he cared about was that this was quieter, and that it meant he wouldn't enter the employee's line of sight. Even so, the tension squeezed his throat tight. What if something jumped out at them? He successfully crawled up the escalator, moving against its direction. The moment he pulled himself up onto the second floor, tears pricked at the corners of his eyes. The agent helped the high schooler get to his feet. Kim Soleum glanced down at his empty hands a few times, feeling the absence of the fishing line. Then, clearing his mind, he shifted his gaze forward. The first thing visible upon reaching the top of the escalator was a massive food court. In the darkened supermarket, only the food court signs emitted an eerie glow, and strangely enough, there were sounds of cooking. The number of roaming employees was... Surprisingly, it was a relatively safe zone.
We can rest here for a while.
The second-floor food court is an area where employees do not patrol. However, do not sit for more than an hour without ordering.
Kim Soleum led the high schooler to a quiet corner near a bibimbap stall and had him sit down.
Why specifically here?
It's safer in places that don't serve meat.
The high schooler swallowed hard. The agent remained calm. He sat down and allowed the student to catch his breath and rest his injured ankle. It was hard to believe that this was the same person who had just pulled off a crazy stunt at the escalator. He was far more skilled and knowledgeable than expected, just as he had confidently claimed. Without realizing it, the high schooler wanted to leave a good impression, so he opened his mouth.
My name is Jang.
Let's not share names. It's better not to use real names in places. Be careful.
The high schooler swallowed hard.
Then, what should I call you, Agent?
The student exhaled deeply, finally feeling some relief. Maybe this was what being a real agent was like. Maybe all his awkwardness was because all his ability points were dumped into being a competent agent. I think we can escape. Even with an injured ankle, the high schooler felt hope, and with that newfound confidence, he asked,
Then we're safe here, right?
The high schooler felt a deep sense of relief, and it wasn't enough. Even on the second floor, the chance of death or disappearance is still high. While keeping his voice steady, Kim Soleum's mind was racing through the something, trying to find this specific scenario. His brain, now freed from immediate survival mode, was reorganizing priorities and digging through data. We need to get out. Had there been a precedent for an irregular situation something? He couldn't remember specific numbers and names right now, but he was slowly reconstructing this exploration record in his head.
Exploration record number 3. An agent responded to a civilian distress call and entered the store around 7 p.m. Agent, something. Looky Mart closed early due to something reason. An unexpected situation arose, and the agent lost contact for 3 days.
He anxiously dug deeper into his memory. Then the outcome of this record.
Result: rescue failed. Agent returned alone.
So that's why he hadn't remembered it well. It ended in just one line. These types of records were common, interesting in concept, but the detailed aftermath was often skipped, leaving it up to the reader's imagination. But the implication was clear. Agent Bronze failed the rescue mission. So if he reunited with Agent Bronze, no matter what decision that agent made inside Looky Mart, Kim Soleum would have to oppose it, and he would have to convince him to escape according to his own plan. No, not me. The difficulty level is insane. Suppressing a sigh, Kim Soleum forced himself to stay composed scanning the surroundings from their corner in the food court while keeping the high schooler seated. Let's just wait it out. If Agent Bronze was still alive, he would definitely make his way to the second floor. Kim Soleum forced himself to stay optimistic. We can talk it through once we meet up again. But 3 whole days passed by. Kim Soleum never found Agent Bronze anywhere in Lookie Mart. Do you know what it feels like to die from your blood drying out? It's an expression describing extreme torment used when someone suffers physically and mentally for a long, grueling stretch. We're feeling exactly that right now. A sensation like our blood's drying up. We've been trapped in this ghost story, trembling in fear of death, waiting for our companions who'd never come, without proper sleep or food. We're experiencing firsthand what a human being is like in that state. Did you know that if a person doesn't sleep properly for a solid 3 days, they start to lose the ability to think rationally? Perfect for going insane. Especially if the person you're with was a minor who just got involved in a ghost story for the first time.
Heek! Where are we going?
It's been 56 minutes. Let's move.
The high school student I was supposed to rescue staggered to his feet, limping. He's probably more mentally drained than I was. He's starting to waver more from dizziness than from the ankle injury, and was muttering nonsense into thin air instead of crying. He didn't even have the energy left to weep or get angry anymore. He's hardly eaten, too. Obviously, safe food was extremely scarce in this damned supermarket, and nearly everything that's available was something a high schooler wouldn't normally touch. Like rats or cockroaches. Things that clearly wouldn't be considered store merchandise by anyone's standard. He'd rather starve for 3 days than eat that lineup. Occasionally, we found items that shoppers already paid for but lost. Things that appeared in the food court randomly. If those happened to be food, we'd eat them. In the last 3 days, that's happened exactly once. When had a banana ever been so precious in your life? Which means the only thing we've eaten in 3 days was that single banana. Luckily or unluckily, we hadn't come across any other missing persons on the second floor, so we had no competition for resources. It made sense, though. Most missing people are on higher floors. The high schooler I'm looking after is out of stamina and willpower. Even trying to fill up on water from the food court's dispenser had its limits. If this were to go on for 2 more days, he'd probably be forced to eat those rats or bugs. Of course, it's even more likely that something else will go wrong before that. Currently, we got up to go to the bathroom every hour. If one of us would doze off or collapse and we miss our window, then we'd run into an employee. Whether it's an employee coming by to take orders or one pretending to clean the restroom. Escorted outside. Reported missing. Nothing but a single line in an exploration record stating our disappearance. The mix of revulsion and dread creeping down my spine was overwhelming. Frankly, managing to survive for 3 days in a ghost story with an injured minor was already feat in itself. And to be clear, I'm not an idiot. I didn't intentionally create this situation. I never thought I'd go 3 days without finding Agent Bronze. Right. My senior agent has vanished. On the first day, I thought maybe we were just missing each other. Did we spend those 30-plus minutes hiding under the display? While he came up to the second floor and left. If I didn't have an injured high schooler to look after, I might have been more aggressive in planning an escape. So, after much deliberation, I decided to stay on the second floor. If he wants to rest, he's most likely to come back here. Honestly, I didn't have much choice anyway. Hauling an injured teenager up and down floors was practically suicide. So we picked the relatively safe second floor to wait it out, and I still think it was a sound decision. But that guy never showed up. So from the second day on, I began searching other floors. I couldn't do long searches, because leaving the injured high schooler alone for hours seemed like a death sentence. But I pushed myself to the limit, even making a crazy trip down to the basement floor, and still nothing changed. Agent Bronze was nowhere to be found. At least not within the area I could feasibly search in an hour. That's how 3 days had gone by. All this time, the supermarket never resumed normal operations. This is one of the reasons they urge you to escape before closing. The culprit that makes this supermarket a hell and lowers the survival rate for civilians. The shortest interval observed for the supermarket to resume operations is 1 day, and the longest is 20 days. It's impossible to know when it would reopen for business. No one knew when Lucky Mart's next day would begin. Sometimes it opened normally after just one day, but other times hundreds of hours might pass from a human perspective. Yet not even a day has gone by in the supermarket's timeline. That's why people speculate the timeline in Lucky Mart gradually drifts further and further from reality, until eventually, it's stuck way in the past. Whether that's accurate or not doesn't matter right now. What mattered was the reality that we're facing. We've been trapped here for 3 whole days. And I'm starting to fear what might be going through the high schooler's head.
We actually came here looking for a kid who lives in our apartment complex.
You came looking for him.
Yeah. He sent me a DM saying he was heading to Lucky Mart and then he vanished. So we thought it was some kind of ghost story and decided to investigate. But that was stupid. He's probably dead by now. How awful if he ended up in that blender.
Don't go leaping to the worst conclusion.
I patted the high schooler on the shoulder.
For now, you'll be able to leave today.
I had a reason to believe that. I recalled the record that presumably belonged to Agent Bronze. An unexpected situation arose, and the agent lost contact for 3 days. Result: rescue failed. Agent returned alone. If I reconstruct that, after 3 days, the Bureau re-established contact with the agent. He then escaped on his own. Even if the rescue attempt failed, he definitely tried to save the civilian. He must have planned to hold out until the supermarket resumed operation. So, statistically speaking, there was a high chance the store would open again today.
Wait, are you saying?
Hope and expectation surged as I calmly checked my wristwatch. Any moment now, when the time changed. I waited a bit longer, but nothing happened. No jingle, no announcements, no lights clicking on. The doors did not open. Once again, the supermarket didn't reopen for business today. I blinked, a cold, dull shock rippling through my sleep-deprived brain.
Is it over for us?
It's okay. We still have other ways.
The high schooler was fidgeting with something. Was he trying to look for advice? But instead of reading it, he was peeling something off the paper. Then he tried to put it in his mouth. I slapped the high schooler's hand away. I pried his fingers open and snatched what was inside. He struggled, but I ignored it. A white capsule-shaped pill. The Bureau once included these pills with the guide sheets for high-level ghost stories.
If it becomes unbearably painful, please take the enclosed capsule. We guarantee you a comfortable end.
My worst fear was right. Damn it. So this was in the leaflet he found. He was crying as he spoke.
I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to get put through that blender. I'm so scared and dizzy, I just can't. I'd rather die comfortably. I'm sorry. Am I being selfish because I'm the only one wanting peace? If half a pill is enough to kill someone, we could split it?
I gritted my teeth at his panicked rambling, then forced myself to smile reassuringly as I patted his arm.
It's going to be okay. There's still a way out.
How, exactly? We've spent 3 days now unable to sleep, eat, or do anything.
I grabbed him firmly.
Up until now, we believed the store would reopen soon, so we tried to stay as safe as possible. If it's not opening anytime soon, there are other methods.
As long as I made one decision. Abandon Agent Bronze. Forget any worry that he won't escape because he's looking for us, any pressure that we need to confirm each other's survival, any hope that we can get help from him. Anyway, the record showed that Agent Bronze did manage to escape on his own. It's just that he would fail to rescue the civilians. The idea that he might also save the civilian who went with him is fantasy. Time to snap out of it. I decided to do everything I could with my capabilities. If the two of us have to wait until the store reopens, my priorities shifted swiftly. After 3 days of stewing over it, I already had the next plan ready.
Don't take that pill. Put this in your mouth instead. Just keep it in there, all right?
I handed the high schooler a nostalgia candy, a strange item that would revert you to your best physical condition. The moment he popped it in his mouth, the high schooler's expression changed.
My leg, it's fine now.
Think of it as letting it melt slowly. It only works while you're holding it in your mouth.
He stood up, face bright with excitement. Even his mental state seemed to revert to its best condition. I half expected him to ask why I hadn't given it to him sooner, but apparently he was too thrilled about his miraculous recovery to think of that.
So, the 3rd floor is the top level, right? Is there some escape route up there? We can get out if we go there? Are we escaping now?
We're going up there to prepare for an escape. The third floor isn't the highest floor. Sometimes you'll find a door that leads above the third floor.
The leaflet said not to go up there.
This supermarket has 3 floors above ground and 1 basement level. To reiterate, do not trust any emergency exit leading to a 4th floor. The 4th floor is not part of this supermarket. Looky Mart's 4th floor. A gimmick that's practically a meme in the something. It's a keyword that screams missing. Headed up to the 4th floor. The sentence ends there and everyone vanishes. No matter how intense or gripping their exploration was before that, it wouldn't matter. It's like they become entranced and poof, they disappear without explanation. All the more frightening because nobody ever wrote why they'd go missing, or what's actually on the 4th floor. It's an unspoken agreement even in the case that covered a disappearance in the most detail. That part would always be missing. I recalled one particular entry. The agent who realized the rescue targets were all dead and decided to challenge it.
So, I'm on the 3rd floor, and I've just found a door leading to the 4th floor. I'm only going to open it a little. I'm not crazy, okay? But we can't just leave that place alone, right? Isn't it recorded that nearly 100 people have gone missing after going upstairs?
The agent rambles on with personal excuses and parting words considered to be a will.
All right, I'm opening the door to the 4th floor now, and it's open. Ta-da! Looks normal enough, just some old emergency exit. There's a staircase. Nothing unusual. The exit door's still there.
He observes for a few more minutes. No anomalies.
Great. I'm heading up now. The exit's still... Oh, it's gone now. So I've got no choice but to keep going. Off I go. Whew! Made it. 4th floor door. Looks like nothing special on the outside. It's just a metal door. All right, I'm opening it now.
Nothing of note recorded in the next 24 hours. When the battery died, the recording ended. The agent's recorder was later found in the electronics section on the 3rd floor of Looky Mart. It's the kind of record that make you vow never to open that emergency door leading to the 4th floor.
Don't worry. Once we find the door, I'll show you what to do.
That's our destination. Whether because of the trust built over 3 days or from witnessing the mysterious power of the nostalgia candy, the high schooler obediently nodded.
Let's move quietly.
We left the 2nd floor food court. Then we carefully climbed the stopped escalator. To avoid being noticed by any employees, we even took off our shoes and went barefoot, moving as silently as possible. Step by careful step, in total silence, cold sweat trickling down our backs. And finally, upon reaching the 3rd floor, originally in the old Lucky Mart, the 3rd floor was said to be used for limited-time deals. Different themed promotional stands would rotate daily with various discounts on display. That display was repeated endlessly, an endless supermarket. If floors 1 and 2 simply recreated Lucky Mart's past, making it feel eerie. Then from the 3rd floor onward, the space stretched out infinitely in a bizarre manner. So far, 3,611 event stalls have been reported on the supermarket's 3rd floor, covering an area of 232 1 kilometer squared.
Always confirm your starting point. If you lose your way, you may never find the escalator leading down again.
A giant maze, like stepping into the mad blueprint or painting of a deranged mind, where infinite lines of stands and special displays repeated. Perfect for driving someone insane. On the other hand, that meant it was easier to evade or hide from employees. Some parts of the supermarket supposedly went months without a single employee appearing. It's also good for secretly stealing food or necessities. If you give up on escaping, that is. So that's likely where countless missing persons were scattered. Perhaps Agent Bronze, too.
Stick to the wall. If you see the emergency door, let me know right away.
We pressed ourselves against the back wall of the escalator and moved slowly, entering that dizzying path of endless display racks. In the dim store, lit only by emergency lights after closing, corner after corner repeated among the shelving.
Winter season outlet event, housewarming gift specials, sell your flesh at Looky Mart. Spring cleaning kitchenware super sale.
Soon the signs turned increasingly disturbing. Each time I saw one of those stalls or signs, I'd turn away and choose another path. For about half an hour, we crossed from one stall to another, confirming the escalator's location and how far it was to us. Then I heard a faint noise, some dull, distant sound from beyond the next set of shelves. Bit by bit, the noise became more distinct, until at last,
Huh? Is someone there?
the high schooler jerked his head up,
Who's there? Need some help?
a voice calling from far away.
That's another person.
I crouched down with a high schooler and whispered a quiet warning.
It might not be human.
And even if it is a human being, if they've been here a while, are they still normal?
No way they could be in their right mind. That possibility was unbelievably slim. And the fact that they had such a friendly tone, it was scarier if it was a human being.
Hey, you there, you're a person, right? I can help you.
We started running, hugging the wall. The friendly-sounding voice kept calling out.
If I keep talking, the employees might come. I know a way out. I can help you.
Sweat beaded on the back of the high schooler's neck. I kept moving, gauging the distance to that voice.
Hurry. You don't want an employee seeing you.
Should I try to subdue them, even briefly? But then, if employees really showed up, right, if it's an actual person, maybe letting them get snatched by an employee before they reach us is best. Just keep moving. Wait a second. Suddenly, as I lifted my head, something came into view along the wall we were following. A green-lit emergency exit. And the emergency exit leading to the 4th floor. I immediately ran over and grabbed the metal handle. Then, in a rush, I gave the high schooler a crucial warning.
Whatever you do not go up those stairs. After we open the door and step in, stand right there. Don't move. Got it? Don't ever move from that spot.
The high schooler nodded, fear in his eyes.
Looks normal enough, just some old emergency exit. There's a staircase. Nothing unusual. The exit door is still there.
But once he started going up the stairs, the door suddenly disappeared, right? So, if you put it another way, if we don't climb the stairs, the door on the 3rd floor won't vanish. Because we hadn't actually left the 3rd floor yet, and if that guess was correct, this spot was safer than anywhere else. There's no record of employees climbing to the 4th floor, because that floor wasn't part of the supermarket, so the space inside the emergency exit leading to the 4th floor would remain a safe zone only people could enter. That would simplify everything. I can even use the food I stored in my tattoo there. Because once we go through this door, it's no longer part of the supermarket. We can stay on the stair landing and check outside at 10 o'clock each day to see if business has resumed. It's the safest bet we have. Trying to escape with an injured high schooler without an infinite supply of nostalgia candies. This was our best shot. No matter how terrifying the rumors of the 4th floor were, we just had to push through. I gritted my teeth and opened the metal door. It made the exact noise described in the records, revealing an old staircase inside.
Let's go, and be careful.
We went in together, and to prevent any unforeseen incidents, I tore out a scrap of paper from my notepad and wedged it between the door so it wouldn't fully close. From the outside, no one would notice it was open. That should help us evade that crazy person chasing from behind, and just as I was taking a breath, the high schooler tugged on my arm in a shaky voice. While pointing upwards, I felt a chill and raised my head. Someone was standing inside the staircase to the 4th floor, a pale-faced woman with sunken eyes and short hair. My batchmate who's a former med student. My brain couldn't process what the hell was going on. But then I noticed what she was wearing. A metal badge pinned to her collar, the official identification for Supernatural Disaster Management Bureau agents. Words from my memory resurfaced.
2 agents who went in earlier are currently in a short-term missing status within this disaster.
Agent Bronze mentioned it earlier. There were 2 missing agents, and one of them happened to be my fellow spy who'd infiltrated the Bureau as a new recruit.